Hey everyone, welcome to my channel if you're new, or welcome back if you're not. So for today's video I have a tutorial on this look right here. It turned out to be kind of a smoky summery look, which is what I'm calling it. I didn't know what I was doing, I was just making it up as I went along, but I really love how it came out. I love the kind of bronzy golden tones with the really dark smoky under eye. And the majority of the shadows, bar maybe the black and the highlight, are from the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette, but I will also have a full product list on my blog. As always, there will be a link to that down below. So if you'd like to see how to get this look, then just keep watching. So to start off the look, I'm taking raw sienna on a fluffy blending brush from the Modern Renaissance palette, and that's going into the crease and blending upwards with circular motions going from side to side. So it's kind of going to be our transition colour. And as you can see, I already have my brows on. I didn't film it because I wasn't sure how they'd come out. If you saw the last video, you know that I kind of went wrong trying to do this technique of like a fluffier brow. But basically I just outlined underneath the brow and then brought some product up into the brow and then brushed up the hairs with some gel. So I'm going to play around with some different products and just get used to the technique, and I will include it in a tutorial or do a dedicated tutorial on that. So back to the eyes, I then decided I wanted a lighter colour to buff around the edges of that raw sienna. So I used golden ochre, again from the same palette, on the same brush. I used basically the same brush for a lot of these shadows. I just kept wiping it off in between. So I'm just buffing that around the edges of that raw sienna colour just to make the blend even smoother. Then to start adding some depth, I took red ochre, again on the same brush, and I popped that into kind of the outer edge of the crease and started blending inwards and also upwards into the raw sienna colour. For my brow highlight, I decided to go into the Nicole Guerrero Anastasia Beverly Hills Glow Kit and use the shade Forever Young on a small little detail mini smudger brush, and I packed that on under the brow, concentrating it under the arch, and then I blended it out down by the tail and also a little bit in towards the centre. And then I also went in and packed that on into the inner corner. So then onto the lid, I'm going back to the raw sienna shade, and I'm starting from the outer corner and blending that shade across the lid about 3/4 of the way, just leaving a little gap on the inside. And then taking red ochre and again starting from the outside of the lid and blending that across, and this is coming across about halfway. And then I'm switching to a flat shader brush and I'm taking Primavera and popping that on the inner half of the lid for a little bit of shine. And that is what I'm listening to. I'm really feeling the Spotify playlist at the moment. I'll link it either down below or on the blog as well. So I'm taking Cypress Umber, which is the dark brown shade from the palette, and I'm just popping that on the outer corner of the eye and blending into the crease. Next for liner, I'm using Inglot's gel liner in number 77, which is the black, and I'm lining my top lash line and also winging that out. So I just skipped ahead on the other side, but we're going to play catch up now on this side. So I'm just taking a wipe on my finger and cleaning up any shadow that was under the wing so it's nice and sharp. And then I'm taking a black, this is from the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette, on an angled brush, and I'm just popping that along the top edge of my liner to kind of smoke it out and smudge it out. And then going back into Cypress Umber on the blending brush and just darkening up the outer corner a little bit more again. So then I'm taking a concealer that's a couple shades lighter than my foundation on a round topped concealer brush, and I'm popping that under the eye and then just blending it down and also up towards the cheekbone. And this is that concealer that I decanted into a jar and I don't know what it is, so apologies for that. And then I'm switching to a small little liner brush with that same concealer so I can get right close under the wing to make sure it's nice and clean. So for the under eye, I'm about to take raw sienna, and then that happened. I don't know where it came from. I had black on my finger, but it's nothing that a little wipe and concealer touch-up won't fix. So then actually taking that raw sienna on the blending brush that's going under the eye, and it's buffing right under the actual eyeball, so it's sitting quite low. Then taking red ochre on the same blending brush, and we're going under the eye again, just coming up a little bit closer to the eye, but it's still sitting quite low again. And then into Cypress Umber, and this is where we're going up against the lash line, but again we're still using that big large fluffy brush, so it's not going to be super tight against the eye, it's still going to be blended downwards. So then we're going back into our liner, the gel black liner from Inglot, with our brush, and I'm popping that into the waterline, and then also taking it into the actual lash roots. So you're covering any gaps between the little hairs there, and it's also thickening up that line in the waterline. And then going back to the black shadow and angle brush, we're just going to set that. So going right over that black along the lash roots. And then switching to a little bullet brush again with the black and going along the lash line, blending downwards now. Then before falsies, I'm just going to give my lashes a quick curl and a coat of mascara. And then for lashes, I'm using the Chelsea style from P. Louise and just applying those with my tweezers and duo glue. So then onto the base, which is pretty much the same as the last video. I'm taking the Urban Decay Original Primer Potion and popping that into my smile lines and forehead lines to stop any foundation creasing. And I'm mixing the Flormar Matte Touch Foundation with the Revlon Colour Stay Foundation. And then we're going back in with our concealer, so that's going under the eyes but not going too close to the shadow, and it's also going through the centre of their face to act as a highlight. And then I'm blending that out with the concealer brush and also the foundation brush that I used. And then once I've highlighted, I will add a nose contour, which is basically the only difference between this base and the base in the last tutorial. In the last tutorial, I did my highlight down my nose and I felt like I went wonky with it, so it made my nose look broken. In the pictures anyway, I definitely noticed it. So I said that I definitely had to do a nose contour in this as well as a highlight. So for that, I'm going into the L'Oreal Infallible Sculpt palette and taking the dark shade on a small angled synthetic brush. So for that, I'm just first creating my straight lines down the side of the front of the nose and connecting that up to the brow. And then I'm also just pulling that colour downwards, down the side of the nose. And then I'll go in with like my concealer brush and just soften that and blend it. And then taking this Ben Nye powder on a large powder brush and using that all over to set my face with that. And once that's done, I can go in and brush up my brow hairs with a little bit of gel. I'm actually using a clear mascara as a gel because I'm no longer going to be going around that area with any more face products. So I'm just brushing them upwards. Then for contour, I'm doing my favourite combo. I'm first taking Tan from the NYX Contour palette and I'm using that same large powder brush. And I'm popping that into or under the cheekbones. That'll go around the hairline and under the jawline as well. So I'm giving it a nice buff out as it's kind of my bronzier shade. And then I'll go back in with a touch of hollow and just sculpt out those areas a little bit more and make them a little bit deeper and darker. And then taking the shade Sculpt on a kind of pointed crease brush, I'm using that just to go over my nose contour. And then I'll just soften that slightly with my powder brush. For my highlight, I'm going back into the Nicole Guerrero Glow Kit and we're using 143, which I guess is also different from the last base, but again, from the same palette. So that's going on the tops of the cheekbones and I'll buff it around the temple as well. And then it'll also go on my Cupid's bow and the tip of the nose as well as the bridge of the nose. And then I'm setting all of that using the oil controlling spray from Skindinavia. For my lips, I'm first lining with number 63 liner from Inglot. I'm just going to outline and then thicken those lines inwards and kind of blend them in. And then I'm using the NYX Liquid Suede in Sandstorm, and I'm just popping that all over the lip. And then this was something different that I tried and I really liked it. I'm taking the True Match Liquid Gold Highlight from L'Oreal and applying that to the center of the lips and blending outwards. And it set down dry, but it wasn't glittery or shimmery. It just gave a lovely golden sheen to the lip. And I ended up layering it on a fair bit because I was going in bit by bit. I wasn't sure how intense it would be, but it's definitely something that you can use a fairly generous amount with. So that was a nice surprise and something I'll be doing more often. And then I almost forgot, but I'm adding some of this beautiful Flormar blush to the cheeks. So guys, that concludes the look for today. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you like it. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up by clicking the like button that's down below, and also subscribe if you haven't already. I'd love to have you on board. As always, there'll be a link down below to my blog where you'll find a full product list as well as more pictures of the look. So thanks again guys, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!